Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Advocacy. We appreciate you guys joining us. I'm going to start out with introducing myself. My name is Paula. I'm a mother of two. I'm married. I grew up in the DC area, and I'm currently living in the Maryland area. My daughter, Morgan Pop, I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about her. She has been diagnosed with multiple disabilities. One is autism and cerebral palsy. So, with that being said, I will turn it over to my co host, Crystal.
Hello, everyone. I'm Crystal Francis. I live in Michigan. I'm a wife and a mom of five kids, and three of them do have disabilities.
Hello, everybody. I am Bunny. I live in Maryland. I am married with three children, and I advocate for my autistic grandson, Grayson.
Okay. So, tonight we have our guest, Meg. I'm sure you guys remember Meg before, who was a ABA therapist. And then we have Therese. We're going to turn it over to them for them to give us a brief introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. We'll start off with you, Meg.
Hi again. So I currently live in the Virginia area. We're Navy right now, so yeah, we keep moving. But I am a mom of two, and I'm from South Africa. So working with this organization with Therese has been really cool because it's something that I've always looked into for, especially for resources and stuff in Africa. So that's kind of how we met at church, and now I'm here.
Hi everyone, I'm Therese Kalongo. I am a wife, a mother. I have one son, a lovely son, and he has autism. He is the center of my universe. I am originally from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. My husband and I have lived in America for more than 25 years, and that's where we got our son. And my son is my inspiration. He is the person, the thing that teaches me how to be a better person every day. And my son has autism.
Okay. Okay. Well, we do know that you are the founder of Autism Congo. Can you tell us what prompted you to do this? I know your son is your inspiration, but could you tell us a little bit more about that? And can you tell us exactly what your it's a nonprofit, correct?
Yes,
Can
it
you
is.
tell us a little bit about your nonprofit?
I would love to. Thank you for the opportunity. You see, in the Congo, where I'm from, where I lived growing up, I saw a lot of kids, a lot of mothers with kids like mine being ostracized. I saw a lot of kids like mine being treated or stigmatized as evil, as demonic, as punishment to the mothers. A lot of them were being fast so that they can fast the autism away. So when I came here, went to school and everything, and got my son, and the day I found out that my son had autism, to me it was like a death penalty because it took me back to where I came from. So I did not know what to do. I was prepared to be by myself, and I was prepared to have a divorce, to divorce my husband, because that's usually what happened. So when I had him, I just created like a bubble where it was him and I only, nobody else. Gained a bunch of weight and stayed home and didn't want to talk to anybody for the longest time. See, I'm from, my mom is a preacher, and I've lived all my life in the church. I lost all my faith through that. In the meantime, my whole family, my sisters and mom and brothers were praying for me. And I kept hearing God's name, voice calling me, Therese, this is why, that's that passage in Esther, like, this is why you've been put here. This is the reason why. So I felt like it's not just for me, for my son, and for any other son that looks like mine, and any other woman that has a child like mine. I have to get up because I'm here. I've been put here for a reason. I have to get up and start to work so I can have these other kids who were not given as much as I was given. That's why.
That's beautiful. I love it. I love it. Now, I don't think you told us the age of your son. How
He's
old is he?
18. He's 18 now.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
It
Okay.
took me forever. It took, I don't know if you guys have ever heard that voice in your ears, like you go to sleep, like somebody calling you, get up, do something. I was being called like that. And my son was not talking at that time. And I said, whoever is calling me, I am not getting up. I am not doing this because my son is unable to do anything. If it's you, then make sure that you show me something. Just prove me something. Just give me something so that I'll be comfortable enough to get up and go help other children. So then months later, I started seeing my son talking, making his own lunch. So I said, it's time for me to get up. I don't know how, but I'm getting up and I'm trying to help those other people who are less fortunate than my son and I were.
Mhm.
That's
Well, can you
amazing.
tell us? Yeah, it is. Can you
Yeah.
tell us some of the ways that you all are helping some of the families? Like, what exactly does your nonprofit do?
Yes. Our not the main goal for our nonprofit is to build a school for children like mine. These children who have unique needs, we want to tailor to the unique needs, and we want to build a school so they're able to learn. Because I know that a bunch of people think they can't learn, but they can absolutely 100% learn. So we
Yes.
wanted to create this environment, this safe environment for them, build the school. In the meantime, we also want to empower the mom because usually in my culture, the mothers are the one who suffer. So what happens usually with moms, the husband will leave, or the husband parents will just kick the woman out simply because they've brought a child who's not perfect. So the mother will be forced to take care of this child. And if she had other kids, then she has to take care of all of these kids. And I don't know if you know, in Africa, the man is the breadwinner of the family. So when the man is gone, the mother stays to suffer and suffer and suffer. And can you imagine what would happen to these kids who's already suffering? So what we want to do is create a center, a trade center where these mothers can learn how to sew, they can learn how to make something and then sell it so they can be financially set and they can have their own dignity back because they become like the worst of the worst in the low of the lowest in the society. I don't know if you guys know, like in Africa, a girl is prepared like from day one as you're growing up, they're preparing you to be a wife, a mother, and then when you get married, you have a child like mine, you've lost all the worth that you could have had. So we're gonna have a trading school for this mother so that they can be able to do something and be financially set. And also, we want to elevate the comprehension, the understanding, or the acceptance of the community by giving them some outreach programs to let them know autism is not devil. Devil. Autism is just a disorder. It's nothing that's coming from a devil. It's not like a mother did something. That's why God is punishing him. That way they'll be able to accept these children back in the society. So that's the main mission for us.
I
Hmm.
love it. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that,
And
Therese. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Meg.
Mhm.
sorry, sorry, can I elaborate a little bit?
Yes.
So that's ultimately like our main focus, like the main goal. But for right now,
Mhm.
what we are trying to focus on is just doing a pilot program.
Mhm.
I think we've located a space where we're going to do it. It's only going to be a couple of kids for right now, just so that we can kind of gather data and show donors that what we're trying to do is going to have a positive impact on the community there. So for right now, we're going to focus on the classroom program, the pilot program, and then ultimately we hope to be able to fund the entire school. As well as the trade center, we want to be able to, like Therese said, provide those resources to families on like what early intervention they can start doing. And that's where like my other skill set as the behavior analyst comes in, to reach from all of my experiences and people that I know to be able to just channel all of that into the school and into this pilot program, so we can really like hit it from all sides.
Right. So we have been talking, we are in contact. They've located like already 10 children, and the location is Meg said. Now we're just waiting for the donation so
Can
they can.
somebody cut that TV down? I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
You said go ahead, Theresa.
Oh, yes. Yes, we've located those children. They're waiting on us so that we can give them, because in the Congo, for example, for a child in a general stream to go to school, the cost of school education is 20 to 30% of a regular person salary. Okay, so this is just for a general stream, like just sending your child in middle school, in high school. We don't have free education. So
Mm.
yes, we don't have that. And when you see that and you see a kid like with autism, first of all, he's not considered as a child. He's considered as evil. And nobody would ever think of taking the 20 or 30% of the salary to send them to school, because they won't bring back anything. And then the bullying, and then everybody will know that you have a child who has autism or who has special needs. So what do? Currently, as we speak, we have some children who are being hidden, sometimes chained away from the
Mhm.
community. They are just put there, like so that people won't see them. Because if they see them, then they're gonna arrest the whole house, and then sometimes kick them out of the neighborhood. So that's why we want to have that school, because once they go to school, this the well, the population can tell that these children learn. They might learn differently, but trust me, they do learn. That's what we're doing.
Now, are you
Yeah.
preparing
And then
to? I just want to be clear. Is the school going to be here or is it going to be in Congo? Where is that?
In Congo,
Okay.
it's like
Mhm.
and it'll be completely funded by this organization, so that the families would not have to pay anything for these students.
yes,
So that's why our donation is so important, because we don't want to ask these mothers who can't afford to even like feed their families to be able to pay for their kids to go to some special school.
yeah,
So the ultimate aim is definitely to be able to it's completely voluntary, like not voluntary, it's completely paid for by us, for them to attend our school.
Mhm. And I just want to alert our listeners that this is where you can donate. This is the website for Autism Congo, and they have it where you can do donations by way of their website. So if you would like to make a donation, please see the website that's going along the bottom of the screen. Now, my question is, how do you, when you say that you're opening up a school, what do you have teachers that's prepared to work with? I know Meg is an ABA, but what about the teachers, the setting? I mean, what's your plan as far as that?
the plan is we have already people who are willing to give training. because there's no such a school as this one. This will be like one of a kind. We want to have all the training we can, and try to bring as much as we can, so that we know, like, I think you know that the children, like my children, my child, they learn very well with technology, like tablet, like things like that. So we
Mhm.
want to have a teacher, somebody like Megan will train other people there that can use the same technique as she does here. The teacher will come. The most important right now, we just need one teacher and two teacher assistants, because we're starting with the pilot. In the meantime, I've gotten people who said they will be more than willing to train the teachers. Yes. Megan, you have something else you want to add?
Meg, did you have something?
No, that's just where we'll be using some of the behavior analytic, like all of the assessments and stuff that we have, just to be able to get the kids started. And for right now, I think the pilot is including kiddos who are verbal. So more of our level one, maybe some level two kids with those levels of autism. And then when we are able to have something where we can get more involvement and more training for people and more assistance, then we will start opening it up to our more profound, to the level threes. Um, there is currently a site that now started diagnosing autism in the Congo, which is something that we would like to reach out to
Mm-hmm.
see if they can start referring people to us.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of things that we need to get in the works so that we can ensure that we gather from all of the resources that are already there, so that we're not reinventing the wheel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have a question. What are the statistics of how many children have been diagnosed with autism in Congo?
There's no statistic put in
That is a great
place,
I
and
don't think
that's
there
the
is any.
problem, because they weren't considered as human beings, so they did not even, we tried, and we went everywhere. We went to the United Nations. There's no such thing as statistic for children with special needs. So we are probably, like, now they're starting the diagnosis, they might bring something up.
Okay, because that was going to be my question. How are you finding the children?
We deal with pastors.
So that is
We deal
the hope. Keep going, Therese.
Okay, thank you. We deal with pastors. We deal with physicians, like neurologists, and we deal with friends of friends, because they, a lot of times they hide them. You have to know somebody, and usually the pastors are the easiest one, because they take the kids there, they make them to fast like 40 days, thinking that they're fasting the autism away. And what happens is the child, of course, when you're a kid, you fast for 40 days, you cannot live, you end up dying. So
Mhm.
and then they say, look, you see, he was the devil, he was a sorcerer or something like that. So we are going to we want to, I think we were thinking, if we deal with the pastors, because, they have a big platform, they can start talking about it in a different light. And then people could see it in a different light. And then just then people could be a bit more comfortable to accept and welcome uh, kids who are different, and mothers who have born them.
So I think that's what I was interested in knowing more about, is that how does the communities there, the people, are they now becoming more accepting that the children are born with a condition and it's not that, or how are they receptive to hearing this type of information, this knowledge that maybe they weren't aware of before?
For everything, change is extremely difficult.
Mhm.
This is why we wanted to deal with a small group first, and then once they've learned something and they come back to the community and show them that we can actually do this. I might not be able to look at this the way you look at it. However, I'm still able to see what I'm seeing and do what I can do to get to the result. You see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
it's extremely, that's why and in every nation, if you change a woman's mind, you've changed the whole nation's mind. That's why we want to tackle the women. We want to empower them. Then they would know and would tell the next woman. And you know how we talk.
Yes.
We would tell
Hmm.
another one. And then when our children come back, they become productive. We just don't want to teach them. We also want to work with some companies so that when they get to a certain age, they can give them a little thing, a job to do, so that these people
Yes.
can see that these kids are not worthless. They can actually do sometimes way better than a general stream kind of person can do. So
Absolutely.
it's gonna be one step at a time. It's really, really hard. It was extremely hard in the beginning because nobody would admit that I have a child who's different. I have a child with special needs. You have to like bribe them, talk to them. No, I'm not here to hurt him. I'm not here to make fun of him, but I'm here to help. And then they can come and show you the kid. And when sometimes you see the conditions, your heart your soul just aches with the indifference that a human being can have towards another person simply
Yeah.
because they're different. Yeah.
I have a question.
Hmm.
So, what is your plan? I think when we first started out, you said your plan was to kind of empower these parents, mothers especially, but also how I think education doesn't just start with the women. Of course, we know we run the world. I have no denying that. But
Hmm.
we also need those fathers and we need those governments and we need to educate them. What is your plan to even go beyond the school to educate the fathers so that the mothers have those dads to help out and we have the governments to give the funding? What is your plan as far as that?
Awesome question. I think if they see the first step, which is the kids going to school,
Mhm.
which is a kid who probably would not have said yes, comes back home and says yes. A kid who probably will not have been able to tie his shoes comes back home and tie his shoes. And they see a woman who's behind her child, supporting her or him, going to take some sewing classes, and now she's not actually depending completely on the husband. She's doing something, yet giving all the support to the kid. Then, just then, the father might think, while they're thinking, we're bringing the conferences, we're bringing the people from outside to come and talk to the father. This is that. All those things put together will actually sway the fathers to think and the government to look at the things differently than what they're looking at right now.
Mhm.
Maggie, you have something else you want to add? She didn't hear.
Meg is a little delayed. Go ahead, Meg.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Yeah, so honestly, we are very, very much going to depend on word of mouth,
Mhm.
with getting some of our like some advertisement out there and just like providing those resources in the doctor's offices, and with the pastors, just to be able to say like, look, even like try these basic principles of something, see if it makes a difference. There's actually a couple of websites in the US. I can't think of the one now. I should have written it down, but it already has a translation in French, which is the language that they speak it's one of the languages they speak in the DRC. So we have some of those things available that we should be able to share with them, that we don't even have to go through all of the trouble to get translated. We definitely want to use those pastors and use those people within the community. So it's not like all of these people are coming from the outside to come and tell us how to raise our kids, to come and tell us what we need to do. We really need to be on that back burner and just empowering and teaching these people on like the little things that they can do just to make those differences. So that, like Therese said, they can go back and it's word of mouth, word of mouth. These kids are able to learn. They're amazing. Like we all know that they are. Yeah, so very much word of mouth and just utilizing the contacts that we already have there. And I mean, just hoping and praying that something makes a change, so that we can just keep going at it.
So I would like to ask Therese also, like, are people in your country, in the DRC, are they able to be a witness to or bear witness or see cases of children in other countries, or just of how there are autistic children who thrive, and like, are they able to see those examples? I know it's still kind of hard because if they're not seeing it in the community, but sometimes I feel like it's also hopeful of how you could see your child, like even like here in America, how sometimes you go take your kid to an ABA center or to the doctor, and but when you see other kids thrive and you start having hope that maybe my kid will speak or my kid can grow and actually, like you say, work. So do they have that? Are they able to see that, so that hope or that fire can start burning in them, to like, this can be a really different testimony for my child?
That's a very good question. I don't think that we've tackled that part yet. And also, I think autism or special needs on children in the Congo, usually it's like a hidden secret where they don't usually talk about it. You know what I mean? So maybe that would be one of the things that we, as Autism Congo, can bring videos to those people to see this girl, this kid, this is how it started, this is how it ended. Because it's pretty much a taboo to talk about. It's rooted in the mind, like very deep, 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 deep in the mind of soul of the people. So it's like, oh, don't talk about that because you afraid of harassment. The whole family can be harassed. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it is bad to a point where, if I may tell you a story, a girl came from Congo to England and she was married, a very cute girl, and they had a child, and the child came out autistic, a little boy. And then at 3 years old, he still didn't talk, and the husband said, nope, I can never have a child like this one. This is not my kid. So he leaves the family. And this girl has epilepsy, and they live together in an apartment, just themselves. So it's a good thing that it was in London because the little boy could go to school, but he was nonverbal. So he's going to school, and one day they both were home, and the woman had a epilepsy attack, and she passed away. And her son, not talking, couldn't scream, couldn't ask for help, and just came and hugged the woman. The lady, Esther was her name. They didn't find out until 4 days when the school couldn't find the kid. Came knocking at the door, find the little boy holding, like hanging into his mom's body, and he too was deceased from lack of food and water. And
Oh.
only happened because she couldn't talk to other kids, to other women. It was that deep rooted in your mind, like, I can't talk to other people. So she kept to herself. After she was dead for 2 weeks, and then the boy was dead for 4 days. He couldn't talk.
Oh.
Nobody asked, checked on him or her. Nothing. So that's how bad this thing can get. Even when you leave Congo, you get to a different country, you
Mhm.
still think the same way. So even me, it took a while. I had to work through it for me to look at it differently. So that's what we want to change.
Mhm. Go ahead, Bonnie.
So I have a
And
question.
that's
So
what
in
that, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Meg, because
Go
I know
ahead,
you're
Meg.
somewhat delayed. Yeah, go ahead, Meg.
No, I'm sorry, I'm so delayed. I'm just coming back to like the videos and stuff to make people more aware. I think once we have that pilot program too, and if we can get consent from families to be able to at least use the videos if we blur out faces just to show like the kids being able to accomplish those little things, then again we're keeping it because it's so great. I'm honestly hoping that they can start listening to your podcast because the stuff that you guys talk on here is like people all over the world are going through the same thing. So honestly, I'm hoping you go international with this, so that people can see that they're not alone, and like we like you are three amazing women talking on the internet about the things that you go through with your kids. So I'm really hoping that like stuff like this, and then using the locals with their kids, and be able to show those videos is how we're gonna slowly kind of you're gonna it's behavior change for them because like Therese said, it's so deeply rooted. It's gonna take time because people have been doing this and feeling this way for years.
Mm-hmm.
Because as women, we definitely feel ashamed because we carry the child. I mean,
Yes.
I didn't grow up in Congo, but I felt like, what did I do? Did I eat something wrong? Did I
Yes.
not get enough sleep? I mean, I think
Yes.
sometimes you do go through that blame game.
Yeah.
If we're real with ourselves, sometimes we do go through that blame game because
Me
we
too.
do feel as though we carried the child,
Yeah.
So,
You're right.
and everything, as you going through, everything that you ate, with certain things you couldn't
Yeah.
eat and
Yes.
certain things you may have craved and you felt like,
Yeah.
okay, had I not given into that,
Yes.
that
Yes.
desire, so
Yes.
in just the food period, but as a woman, because we feel so closely to that child that we've carried, I can imagine that guilt that you carry. And then on top of that, your mate or society makes you feel as though,
Yes.
this was your fault. So I can just
Yes.
imagine, that
Yes.
burden that you carry for years.
It's a very lonely place to be. I was here, but I still thank goodness for my family. I have an older sister that was always there, begging me, trying to reach me. I gained 100 pounds within 6 months
Mm.
because even though I was here, I was still under the mentality of, oh my gosh, it's your fault. Oh my gosh, God is punishing you. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, your husband's gonna leave you.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. So it took me a while, and I've lost almost all my friends. All my friends were gone because each of us come with, oh, it's your fault. You don't like to go to people's house. You don't let your kid play with other kids. And sometimes like, oh, you don't discipline your child enough. No, it's not that.
Well, you didn't lose friends.
I
Those
did.
weren't friends.
That's true.
They weren't friends,
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
He helped you to
You have
weed
amazing
out.
people in your life now. So
I do.
Yeah. And he helped you to weed those people out because, you shouldn't have a set of friends if you have a healthy, normal child. People
Yes.
that people think are normal.
Yeah,
That's not friends. Yeah.
that's true. Yes.
Mm,
You're right.
nah. Now, one thing I wanted to ask was, how much do you all anticipate it may take to educate at least one child in your school?
We have that. It's probably like a year, or you mean like lifelong, or just for a year? What time frame are you
I would
asking?
say a year. I'm assuming from a year. I'm assuming that you guys, are you going to have this school all year long, or are
Yes.
you going to follow the same pattern? Hey, cutie. Are you going to follow the same pattern as, the school year, and then a lot of schools have extended school year services. So I'm not sure how you guys plan to set this up for a year,
Yeah.
but I guess just with your yearly schedule, and how much do you plan to, I mean, how much do you anticipate it costing for
Okay.
at least one?
This is what we did. We did it as the salary of the teacher monthly, $300 for the teacher.
Mm,
The teacher assistant was 200.
mhm.
The kid by him or herself, we had like snacks, we had a mattress, all together for a kid came out to 1,000 for a year for
A
one child.
thousand?
Yes, it's
Wow.
not. That is after we have gotten this that little place put together. So $1,000 in a year is what it, because it's not as expensive as here. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Yes, it's not as expensive as here. Like you see the salary for a teacher. What kind of here you can pay a teacher $350. So yes,
So what does the school year look like? Does it, like Meg, is it extended school year services, or will you guys function, like what does your school year calendar look like?
I don't know if we've necessarily decided on exactly what that's going to be. I think the school is almost going to run more clinic-like, so it would include that school will be for the year. So I guess yes, extended school year, but a little bit more clinic-like,
mhm.
um, so that we can function it like that way.
We are going to have teacher. We're gonna have activities. We're gonna incorporate the teachers. We're gonna teach them how to do the speech, because if we get a speech therapy, it's gonna cost us most a lot of money too. If we have donation, we'll get that. But in the classroom, we're gonna have education. We're gonna have social skills like activities, educations. It's sometime for speech, sometime for motor activities and things like that. So it's gonna exactly what it
Yes,
makes the clinical uh, will be involved, and then education
yes.
also.
Yeah, so the hope is, I mean, if we can get volunteer services for stuff like this until we're more up and running and we can like start paying people from the U.S. to be able to do things like that. But for right now, I have another friend of mine who she does ABA clinics in like the islands and stuff around here. And a lot of what she does is they use video and telehealth, and they do
Mhm.
OT, speech and behavioral services for students that way. So
Okay.
um, that's kind of where we're going with that. But just in regard to like the school year, I think it will be for the year with obvious breaks because people need breaks as well. Um, yeah, I guess in a sense for here in the US, and more of an extended school year with
Mhm.
breaks.
Okay.
Uh, I do have a question. How
Yes,
many
ma'am.
children do you all have right now that you've identified that you can provide some assistance to right now?
10.
Ten.
We have
Okay.
10. And unfortunately, the pastor is calling me with more kids coming. I'm like, we just need 10 first because the school is just one space.
Mhm.
So the
Yeah,
floodgates have opened.
absolutely.
We have open.
Because people need help. Yeah,
Thank
people
you.
need help. And there's power, as we know, when it's a group, and or somebody, even some people may not even properly be able to identify that my child has autism.
Yes.
but you know something is not completely right. And then once, like you say, is talking to someone else and someone you see a light of hope, you just be like, I mean, a ray of hope, and you're
Mhm.
like, oh wow, this
Mhm.
is here. Because if not, like you say, they're
Mhm.
tucked away. And I mean, even in Congo that happens, but I
Mhm.
will say even here, I
Mhm.
don't know if most people know, but when people had special needs individuals in their families, they weren't brought out in public. So, I mean, I think we've come a long way,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that was even back here in America.
Yeah.
People tucked them away. You did not bring them out. They
Yeah.
weren't, yeah. So it was just like they were taken care of by the family. They
Mhm.
just were not seen out in public. So I
Or
don't
they
think,
were sent to centers,
yeah,
families who just gave them over to the state,
yeah,
or
Mhm.
and just went on about life. And then we also talk about, like, in the academic
Institutions.
yeah, institutions, and then in the
Mhm.
academic setting as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
We would say growing up in school, we didn't see the students that had special needs. They were always on a different floor, which was usually, in
Mhm.
my school, the basement, like a lower
Mhm.
level floor. They were
yeah,
down some long hallway, and you just didn't, there was definitely no inclusivity with them. There was no interaction,
Yeah.
and it seemed like they were set apart. And
Yeah.
I think that mentality just follows you as you grow up. If you don't know,
Yes.
if you
Mhm.
don't have someone to teach you,
Mhm.
to show compassion and caring, and
Mhm.
that they are humans too, and they
Mhm.
just want to be loved just like you do, and they
Mhm.
look to you as a peer, and they want to do the things that you do.
Mhm.
They want to run and play. They see you running and play. They want,
Mhm.
and so
Mhm.
just hearing about the communities and hearing that. And that's why I could see how the floodgates have opened. If that, like Paula said, that ray of hope, now,
Mhm.
you get a select group of families. Now everybody's like, hey, 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 don't forget about us. Yeah, I think that's so beautiful, because it sounds like, to me, Therese, it
Mhm.
sounds like it takes a certain amount of bravery to step forward and acknowledge in your community
Yes.
mhm,
that I am a parent, I'm
Yes.
a mother of a child that
Yes.
has different needs.
Mhm. Yes. You're right. It does. It does, because when you do that in
Yeah,
a
and
way,
so with sorry, Therese.
it's okay. You can go ahead.
go ahead, Meg.
It's so frustrating. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so another thing too that I kind of just like that I had thought about, that we could also do for these families that are going to be on our wait list, to just put together like a little bag of, like, these are things you can start doing with your kids. Like, these are some basic like OT stuff. This is some basic things that you can try and implement in your house, just as like a kind of like a starter kit for people while they're waiting. So yeah, there's definitely a ton of things that we can do, especially if we get these big wait lists, just to make these families feel that they're being heard. And even if they can't get services at the moment, that like it's coming. So I think that's definitely something that we'll probably have to factor in at some point, to like for donations as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we all know how those
Meg,
wait
you
lists be.
mentioned about the.
Yeah, wait list,
Mhm.
wait list in this. Yeah, everything is a wait list. That's, I think, when you talk about special needs people and you give them a little hope, sometimes
Yeah.
that hope is diminished with wait lists. That
Yeah.
can be kind of hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Go ahead, buddy.
Meg, while they're waiting and you're giving them their bag of goodies, how are you guys going to educate the mothers
Mhm.
when you give them this
So
bag to
I don't know.
use? Mhm.
Yeah, I think the so my feeling for that is to be able to find somebody, um, like a behavior analyst or somebody like that that already speaks French, to be able to run with these families through the things that they already do, or get a translator. But I think if we can even use the classroom, and set it up as some sort of little community, like a community room, like outside of school hours, or find like a church where we can send people and we can have them go through some sort of little training on how to utilize those things. And I mean, even if we can try and get with the pastor and those people and train them to be able to train people, I think that's definitely the way that we will work with that. But yeah, definitely make sure that we can provide it in French, which I don't speak, unfortunately. So we would need to find people to be able to do that. If you know anybody who speaks French, and that's what we do. So
That's true. We'll be having outreaches, like we'll be having like community outreaches where we have flyers also. We'll be inviting mothers and fathers at the same time, and when they pick the brochure, they can read, and we'll be providing the numbers and the place where they can call to get information, because most of them will be more comfortable calling instead of just coming where when other people are watching. So
I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
I know you said that most of the mothers are working at home. Is it possible to decrease? Because all I'm thinking of is a wait list. And I know for me with Morgan, that was so discouraging. You know, when you get that hope and then you just like, wow, it's a wait list. And you never know how. I'm gonna tell you, when something is so good, you have a wait list, but half of those people are never going to leave that center. So that wait list is continuing to grow. If you're waiting for, okay, if I come there and I find out something is good, I'm not leaving. So my question is, I mean, I know if the mothers are home, why not bring the mothers on to educate them and empower them to work with their children within the center, so that that wait list doesn't become extensive. And at this point, when you're empowering them to work with them at school, they are going to take most of those skills back home. So I'm not sure if that's something that you guys have thought about. Another thing I was wondering, what about going to some of the schools? Like with some of the schools here, they have like an inclusion program. What about, and I guess this is part of education, because again, my mind is when I hear wait list, I cringe. I honestly cringe, because Morgan was on wait list sometimes when she was like 2 and 3, and she never came off that wait list at 18, you know. What about even going to some of the schools and educating them or empowering them to, you know, have some of these inclusion programs, so that these wait lists that are continuing to grow won't continue to grow. Those are some of my ideas that I'm thinking, empowering moms, and because that can be somewhat frustrating.
It's
that's a good idea, Paula. Very good.
Yes.
Because you're doing it twofold. You're doing it at school, and it's going to help them at home. We're trying to deliver hope to these families, and hope does not come by way of a wait list. So I'm just thinking out the box. How can we cut down on these wait lists? Because that's not encouraging at all.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that you're absolutely right. We're taking small steps.
Okay.
We're taking very small steps, because you know, when change doesn't come easily.
That's right.
People don't like change, even if it's a good one. So that's why we have to prove ourselves first. I think when Meg said waiting list, is like, yes, we want the school to be big. We want everybody in, if we can have them. So we will do our very best to gather everything we have to help other children. We will do our best. We were doing it step by step and making the change slowly but surely. They have to trust us. After they trust us, then they can open the school system, just, you know, and everything else could open for us, and then we can slide in and then make the big change that we want to make.
Be prepared.
I love it.
Big change is going to come.
It is. I love it. But you know what I what I'm taking away from this, listening to Therese and Meg, is letting us know the culture of the community. And I hear you, Therese, when you're saying that change that's a great change. You know, I heard you, Paul. He was like, "What about the school? Like these people." That's why I say it has to be a lot of courage and bravery for a mom to step forward, because it sounds like she said, she's ostracized, and it can affect the whole family. So, you know, I can't imagine like the school where all the local kids are going. I mean, I can't imagine it right now, you know, but I can see the vision of what Therese is trying to do. She's to prove so that they can see. I think that's why I brought up about like if they could see what's happening maybe in America or in other countries, that our children, how through patience, perseverance, how our children, so that they can see, because in a community that they don't see this is what I'm gathering, if I'm hearing it right, they don't see this. And Therese, this is a really big project, and God has given you the strength. You want to see change in your home country because you know that God is able to do it, and that you know that he's giving you this vision for this, and you're taking it small steps and small changes. I hear you. And I mean, I read your website and everything, and I saw, I was really encaptured by just your mission of empowering, educating, and elevating. Those three words really stuck out to me, you know, and those are really big tasks to take on.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I think you should make your son the poster child for, you know, I don't know if you guys have been keeping
Yeah, we
video.
didn't even get to hear about him.
I know.
We didn't get to hear how he inspired you, Therese.
He has, you know, he's taught me something. And for him, I said, we were having a conversation. Now we can talk a little bit.
Wow.
So I'm telling him, I said, this is one thing that has stuck with me. He says to me, Mom, I said, he calls me Mama. Mama, I'm like, yeah. So you are going to help other children like me? I said, yes. So you are going to help other mothers like you? I said, yes. He said, promise me, Mama, you're going to do that. So to me, I took that and said, OMG. I said, yes, I promise I will help every child when I can, if I can, like you. And then every mother like me. If I'm staying with that, because I know the struggles that come with raising a child. It's bad here, but it's worse in the Congo. So seeing that is what pushes me even harder to say, I think every human being deserves to be loved. And all of us as humans, we need to participate. We need to be part of another person's happiness. We have to be human beings. You know what I'm saying? So with that in mind, because I promised him, and I see myself in it, I see my son in it. I just wondered, what would have happened if my son was born in the Congo?
Right.
You know, what would have happened if I were a mother of a child with special needs in the Congo? I would never know, but I know how other mothers and other children like him. So God has put me here so I can help those that don't have a chance like my son did, like I did. And it's been a while. It's been a struggle for me, like talking to people about this. But it's put me it's taken me out of my comfort zone. Like I've changed. I've become a completely different woman. And I think this was in the make, you know. And now I want to empower other women. I don't want another woman to feel the way I felt. And I think I was here, but I was feeling like that. What about the ones who are in the Congo, in the midst of all this, the culture, a culture where closeness does not even include emotion. You can be close without being emotional, open to the next person, because that's the culture where you guys eat together, you play together, you do everything. I can come to you, ask for your dress because I don't have anything to wear. So all of the sudden, I'm just put aside simply because I have a child who does not respond to the norm of the society. So I wonder, I say to myself, what do they go through? It's heartbreaking.
And what does the child go through? Every child
That's
deserves to be loved.
yes.
Imagine when you were a baby and you went through those stages. I mean, everybody, and I tell everybody deserves those different stages you go through in life make you who you are today.
Yes.
Everybody needs to go through a stage where they feel as though they are nurtured, they are protected, they are loved in spite of their faults and failures that people deem is a fault and failure. So it's amazing to me um, that people feel like that. I can't even imagine it. You feel insufficient in so many ways. I can't
Mhm. Mhm.
imagine that. But I definitely want to emphasize that our listeners, as we've heard, it's like to educate one person is $1,000. So if they have 10 people, all they need is $10,000. I know it sounds like all they need, but we know that wouldn't even be enough to educate one person here. So what we're asking is for everyone to take and go on to autismcongo.org. You see the website across the bottom of the screen. Go
Mhm.
on and donate. Let's jump in here. Let's help. Let's don't just be about it. Let's not just talk about it. Let's be about it.
Yes.
Let's go in. Let's help. Let's support. Let's encourage. Because guess what? Even though it's we're over here and they're in Congo, they still matter. They still
That's
matter. And just
right.
like we're fighting for our kids over here, let's go
Mhm.
over to Congo and help support and fight for them as well.
Mhm.
So for me, that's my closing
Absolutely.
remarks. I'm gonna have Crystal and Bunny to jump in, give some closing remarks, and then we'll have closing remarks from Meg and Theresa, please.
Well, I would like to say that
I'm
I would
gonna I'm gonna go ahead and give
Go ahead. We
go
both
ahead,
y'all
Crystal.
excited. Both everybody's excited. Go ahead, Bunny.
Mhm.
I don't have much to say. Thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. It means a lot to us to how we take care of our children with special needs. I just can't imagine, the need of the parents to take care of their babies in Congo. So I appreciate you sharing the story to bring this to our attention. And thank God for you and Meg, how you stand in the trenches for the moms to educate and to take care of these babies like you take care of your son. So I'm gonna try my best to do my part to help out to get some education to them. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Crystal.
I really enjoyed this. You sharing with us your vision.
Mhm.
It definitely answers a lot of questions that I just wanted to know more about when I went to your website,
Mhm.
and to know that the cause, what you're doing,
Mhm.
your mission, and what I see that when people do visit your website, they get a good idea of where the funding is going directly into to support a community that is trying to move forward,
Mhm.
and the caring of not only the children with special needs, but the educating of moms, and then the awareness in the community, the acceptance. And
Mhm.
I just really, Therese, this is just beautiful to meet you, to have you here tonight. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Meg, for sharing Therese with us,
Okay.
and it's been beautiful to have Meg
Yeah.
back again. This has been really good. I really have enjoyed myself this evening.
Thank you.
Okay, Meg.
Yeah, so just thank you guys for having us. We have an amazing team that Teresa's put together. I don't know where she finds all of these cool people who want to work with her on this. So I'm just happy to be along for the ride, honestly, to be able to like know what we know and share that over there. So yeah, it's not close to my home, but like it's still Africa. So yeah, just thank you guys for hearing us out and letting us use your platform in order to get the word out there.
Thank you.
Star, close us out.
Thank you kindly. Very much. I am very humbled, deeply humbled for the opportunity that you've given me to share this passion with you. I thank you for that. What I have to say, there's an African adage that says it takes a village to raise a child.
That's right.
We have these children in this village that needs a lot of villager to come in too. So when you raise a child, you're just not raising a child, you're actually raising the whole nation, because you don't know what this child will do tomorrow, who else he can affect tomorrow. So when somebody gives a donation to Autism Congo, they're not just donating to educate a child. They're actually saving a child's life, a child that could have died for lack of food or for fasting because of this, a mother that could have died or something. So we appreciate everybody that takes a minute to go in and support Autism Congo, because we really need this. Everybody that God created needs to be loved, especially children. So we thank you. And just know, you see a child with special needs, just uh, don't overlook at them. Don't overlook them. They kids. They can teach you something. I have learned unconditional love through my son. So please be patient with them. Be understanding of the mothers who are going through this. When you see a child in the store screaming, don't feel like the mother's not teaching the kids. Just be patient and be human and talk to the mom. Visit us at autismcongo.org. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. So what
Yes.
we're
I
gonna
love it.
also
Thank
do
you.
in a,
Love it.
in a couple of months, we want you guys to send us some pictures, give us some progress reports. We would love to put that on our website. It's up and coming, but we would love to put that on our website. We would love to put that on our social media pages, because I think what helps people to give more is when people see what you're doing, and they
Yes.
see what, to see the progress you're making. So please check in with us, Meg and Theresa. Please let us see the progress so we can display it all on our pages, because advocacy would love to be able to support you guys and to be out there educating for the parents as well as the kids. So,
Thank
with
you.
that being said, guys, we thank you guys for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. We're
Thank
going to hear more about Autism Congo in the future. For those that
Yes.
of our listeners that would love to contribute, again, here is the website going across the bottom. Spread the word, support this cause. We
Please.
think this is a great cause. And we pray that everyone has a good night and everyone has a great weekend. And we will see you guys back next Thursday.
Yes.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you, ladies.